Hello, YouTube. Chance Paladin here, and my counterpart, Ringo the Cat. Adjust my microphone. Apologize. Hopefully, it doesn't make any horrible squeaky noises. Alan Wake. Did I already say that? This is Alan Wake. Checking my settings here at the beginning, as I sometimes do, because I'm freaking OCD about that. This is kind of another writer goes to the cabin to do writing things. I didn't play this one originally when it first came out. Not that I didn't want to. I think I had a lot of other stuff going on at the time, and there was eventually a re-release that came out. But sad to say, the re-release was exclusive to some of the consoles, and then they didn't release it later, except under one of the exclusive launchers, and I didn't feel like chasing that around. And the graphics, the video and everything, they did fix it up a lot. Unfortunately, for the PC port, it is really dated. I found the remaster just kind of be too expensive. Would rather buy the other titles. This is about as officially as you can get, but unofficially part of a sort of a self-contained universe with Control, Quantum Break, and the other one, I'm forgetting the name all of a sudden. Narratively, creatively, they all have vast different similarities. Somebody did like a 40-minute video on it. Only got about halfway through because I didn't want to spoil it, but you can check that out. There's also a movie that segues into what just transpired there. It says how long to beat calls this an 11-hour game. Whoops. I don't think it's 11 hours. It's, if you know where you're going, and don't die too much, and understand how the boss battles go, and don't sit through all the dialogue. This is probably, sorry, farting around with my mic here. This is probably a 7.5-hour game, 7-hour game. But if you read through everything, and that's my co-host Ringo the Cat. If you watch everything, those shadow, lots of shadow people, they can't go into the light, but they can break the lights, which causes lots of problems. So I was kind of getting my food. I've never actually played this before. This was one of the games I was playing for my horror block for CDK. The movie explains who that guy is that's chasing him around. They don't actually explain it very well in the game. So there's a movie. It's free on YouTube. Explains a lot of this. The setup doesn't explain a lot. Kind of tosses you right in. It's one of those story elements where it tosses you right in, and then and then it kind of rewinds and retells you everything. QR code there, no idea what it does. I don't recommend scanning it. PSA, don't scan people's QR codes that you don't trust. And if you find any QR codes laying around, even if it looks like it's someone you can trust, check and make sure somebody hasn't done a sticker over the QR code. This similar to every other game, you're learning the beginning has narrative elements that are probably important, but you're too busy doing the tutorial. I use a life code and an ammo code in this. But I wonder if I don't have them turned on yet. Not sure. Yeah, I'm trying to change it up, so I tried to do a psychological one, and then kind of an actiony one, and then a psychological and an action one. Trying to anyway. Ringo, I know you have food. Stop being so. Don't hit me. Just ran up to me and hit me. That wasn't very nice at all. No, give me those little baby cougar eyes. Little monster. I know who you are. You're a little monster. Oh, he wants out. It's 11 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, he likes to go out and play. So yeah, it jumps you right in. A lot of games do that when they try to hook you right away. A lot of books try to do that when they try to hook you right away. I don't like doing that. A lot of other people do. This guy locks you outside. Oh no, let's see. I think he gets stuck outside there. The door doesn't work or something. And he doesn't understand how to take care of these guys. And gets axed a question. Hold on. You want to go play, Ringo? So, you go in your room and... Oh, here's eyeballs. So, this kind of goes with the whole bingo card. Fill out your eyeball bingo card. It explains what's going on there later. He's narrating his own story, which is pretty cool. TVs, yeah, there's like these little Twilight Zone episodes that explain some of the narrative elements of the book. There's a character that beams light around that helps you.
You are hurt. You should go into the light. You are only safe there.
Yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. It's a super short. Oh yeah, wait, am I supposed to describe what? I'm supposed to talk for an hour? This game jumps you into what's going on about 10 seconds in. I noticed the longer form games seem to do that. The longer the form of the game, the sooner they seem to want to get you into everything. The shorter the game, the more it seems to kind of drag it out, I suppose. One of the things that I love about this game is the aspects of it, like building things. Super tired. Today's just been a heck of a day. I originally really fell in love with this game years and years ago because I watched Vash, who was probably one of the first video game YouTubers that I really liked. And probably had the chance to meet him once, but couldn't find him. We were at a big venue. And back before cell phones and stuff, really hard to find people in big venues. Anyway, it was kind of a pain in the butt back then. You had to kind of message each other. The internet just was really bad. Anyway, but Vash still streams, by the way, and he really kind of... The reason why streaming and streamers used to be really important at the time is because not everybody owned every console, and not everybody you certainly couldn't buy every game. And there was kind of like console, how do I say, console exclusives. I don't think Alan Wake was maybe, and that guy just fell right off. I don't think he was supposed to. That's pretty funny though. Console, maybe Microsoft console exclusive. I had, ow, these guys gang up on you really, really fast. I had an Xbox, but oh, did I forget to? Do I not have my life code turned on? Well, I turned it on eventually. Maybe I was like spending a lot of time playing Borderlands, Resident Evil. I don't know. I used to watch Vash play Resident Evil 4 over and over and over and over again. Yeah, he played Alan Wake, and man, I watched the whole series of him playing Alan Wake, and I was just, it's so funny. His character, like his personality comes through, like how he plays games, and it's just so funny. And I was always enamored with the way he played Alan Wake, and he played it a lot like how he, well, he had like a different personality kind of for every game. Watching him play Resident Evil 4 was really fun, and I think I probably credit him. Well, I credit him for me even starting streaming video games to begin with. But, yeah, back then it was really hard to get consoles. The games were really expensive. Capture cards were really expensive. They weren't porting a lot to PCs yet at all. And so you really had to find somebody who had put the money and the time and the energy and the effort into the capture card. And all the hardware and the time and the patience and the editing and setting up the thumbnails and stuff. Like, it was... And by the way, the person's like working full-time too. So it was really a full-time job. When they started porting all this to PC, I know, like, probably gonna offend a lot of people, but like, it made it easy. It made it easy there for a long time. But what made it hard again is not a lot of people could have the resources to stream in HD. And so streaming in HD was another huge big bump because the file sizes were massive. There was no compression yet. So to stream in even like, or not even to stream, to just upload 10 minutes of video in 720, the files could take up like your whole hard drive. Like in just big uncompressed. These big, just uncompressed with MKVs or what, whatever they were at the time. So here we go. We kind of are rewinding back to the actual beginning of the story here. So streaming consoles was a really big deal because there was no way everybody could play every game in every console with all the exclusives coming out. And then the jump to HD, not a lot of people had the hard drive space, let alone like the high-speed internet to really upload just these monster files. Like to have like, HD at the end of your name, to tell people you were uploading, in bigger than 480p, which was not that long ago. Was a big deal. Now, it's funny, like, flash forward to now, most of my stuff is still in 720p. Not because I can't render in 1080, because I can, but it still takes massive amounts of data to be able to load, 1080p to YouTube, and it takes massive amounts of processing power and processing time to be able to edit a video in 1080p. So the reason why I'm telling you this is there's like these different kind of hardware technicality jumps, and in between there it was really easy for people for a while, and then there was another jump, and you're like, well, what the hell, what's the point of you telling me all this? Well, this next big jump is the jump to being able to recording and uploading in 4K. And if you watch Linus Tech Tips at all, which I make little jokes, I make a joke in like the Medium video about the LTT screwdriver or whatever. Linus has actually been talking about that again lately, like what's the point of 4K, what's the point of 8K? I mean, most people, and so here's the thing, if you want me to just summarize it for you, what the fuck is the point of uploading a video in bigger than 720 if almost everybody's watching videos on their damn phone? Right? You're not, well, if you're watching YouTube on a giant TV, and if you can afford all that shit, then you can probably just get YouTube Red and watch it in 4K anyway. And for you, that might be fine. But for the other 98% of all of us plebes that don't even have like curved TVs yet, and 720p looks just fine. Or, if we want to feel really fancy, maybe watching a sci-fi movie, watching it at 1080. I'm never going to have a fucking 4K TV, or if I do have a 4K TV, I'm sure as fuck never going to be watching anything 4K. It's a fucking waste of time. Absolute waste of time, waste of energy, waste of money. So uploading 720 is fine. Now, if you blow up my 720 stuff onto a giant TV, it probably does look like dog shit, but most people are streaming on their phone and they're streaming on a tablet. You do get a little bit of a bump between 720 and 1080, but if you play a lot of retro games, like I do,
sounds like you've got a lazy bastard for a husband.
Doesn't matter. The only way you're going to see any difference in Alan Wake, in 1080p, is if I got the remaster, because all this is just upscaled Xbox 360 graphics. So the funny thing is, that's why I like most, not all. I couldn't remember which car was his. I don't know why the hell I thought that was his car. And I think it had to do with like Evil Dead. I think that's, and they're making fun of me because I can't find my car. I'm like, where the fuck is my car? Did we drive that pickup truck? I'm like, what car did we drive? I was so confused. I'm like, what car did we come in on? I swore it was that gold. I'm like, oh, it's the damn red car. Okay, wow, I feel like an idiot.
We need to stop at the local diner to get the cabin.
By and large, almost entirely, the Xbox 360's graphics stood up just fine. And you can still run the damn game on a potato, and it doesn't take up a lot of hard drive space. So if you can record it all in 1080 and then render it down into 720, and it still looks fine. You still get good frame rate. You can still tell everything that's going on.
Towns where everybody knew everybody.
Welcome to the Oh Dear Diner.
Hi, I was wondering if you could help me. I'm looking for.
Mr. Wake.
So there isn't like really a big jump
I am your biggest fan. I know people say that
this time around. Like, nobody's beating down your door to shoot everything in 4K.
Carl?
You gotta get the cat.
He must have gone to visit the restroom. He'll be back in a moment. I can't believe it. I've got all of your books.
And you can't simply
And they took it out of the window.
stream in 4K and have an instant hit on your hand. like used to be able to stream in 1080 and have, you know, an instant hit on your hand, or just be, you know, someone streaming an exclusive PS3 game and have an instant hit on your hand. And I'm not saying that's what happened. It just so happened that some of the people... That's weird. Why is... I must have had to take a break or something. I really didn't do a good job editing. I'm finding all kinds of editing errors. This is really embarrassing. This is the third or fourth game that I've found an editing error in. Holy shit, that's embarrassing. I used to work really, really, really hard on editing these videos. But editing a 7.5... I know you have food. Oh no, did the other cat eat all your food? Is that the problem? It is? The other cat ate all your food? Oh. I'll get you some food after this video. How about that? Okay. Meow. Yeah, editing a 7.5 hour video is exhausting, and that's why most YouTubers don't do it. They probably have asked somebody professionally edit their videos, maybe. I don't know. And I don't have the hard drive space to save everything lossless and go back and fix it. I edit the video, wait a little bit, move it, copy it, make a couple copies, and delete all the original content. So I couldn't go back and re-render these in 1080 even if I wanted to. Truthfully, it would take me just as long to replay through the damn game and re-edit it. I know I've talked about that before, but like, it really is faster. Of course, probably what I would do is like skip the dialogue and just kind of go to the interesting parts. I'm usually like really torn. I'm usually really torn on how much of the dialogue. Ooh, spooky lady. One of the interesting things about this story, not that there's plot holes, it's as you progress through the story, trying to figure out, I'll get your toes, trying to figure out which parts of this, like, are happening in his imagination, and which parts of it are actually things that are just conjured and real. There's kind of two different dimensions going on. Spoiler alert. There's like the dark dimension, and then there's, you know, kind of the awake, Alan Wake awake dimension. But it doesn't do a very good job describing what's going on. But this is all reality right now. It's just becoming more and more shadowy. So this is all real stuff that's really going on right now. He's not imagining this. He didn't imagine that gal handing him the key. She was really there. He wasn't supposed to get the key from her, though. He's supposed to get the key from someone else. So he's a little confused. It's like his fangirl. That gal over there with the light, trying to go through the town fixing the lights. She's real. And that's his wife. This is all real. He's going to get... He's a writer. He's got writer's block. That was the guy that was supposed to give him the key. But here's what's confusing is he has the key too. You'll see that he works at Stucky's. That was Stucky. That was the guy that was attacking him later. Well, earlier. Please don't stand on my keyboard. We gotta keep the show going, or the continuity will get confusing. That was Stucky. That's the guy that turns later. But that's like a blink and you'll miss it. Now, how he had the key and how she had the key, I'm not 100% sure, but he has to rent the cabin because he's got writer's block. But he has anger issues, and he wanted to go just have like a relaxing. There's the nice little cabin and stuff. Sorry, more yawning. I'm doing like 2 of these a night, so I do more, but my throat can't handle it. I'm trying to get a nice backlog of these. I still have maybe 4 or 5 more to go. Anyway, there's the island. And he really wants to spend time with her, kind of work on his anger issues, kind of calm down. Because he's got a publicist that's been keeping him out of trouble, but he loses his temper a lot. She has the fear of darkness. Because, I don't know, the lights went out when she was a kid or something. So, you saw some of the motion blur when he turned around. I think that's the upscaling and the anti-aliasing, trying to keep up. But overall, it does a good job as long as he doesn't move too much. The game looks great, honestly. But you can tell the lighting is a little... the lighting is a lot dated. There isn't really any lighting to speak of. But once he gets his flashlight out, it looks great. There's the generator that he needs to get working later. I just was kind of looking around as she was walking to the cabin. Storm cellar.
Here we go. Let's take a look inside.
And she gave him the flashlight because he's in charge of keeping the darkness away from her.
It's dark in there. We need lights. Can you figure out how to get the power on, honey?
Sure thing. I'm on.
See, the flashlight works perfect. There's 2 DLCs, which Tom Zane is the author that was in this cabin before. They don't do a super great job at explaining that. But that's a little Easter egg for later. Of course, you got to have a deer head, just like Evil Dead, and like every movie has a freaking deer head in it. So yeah, there's not a lot of great lighting, but the flashlight works really well. That's more foreshadowing. Of course, he saw that character at the beginning, the big flash of white light. There's 2 DLCs, and then kind of an add-on called, what was it called? American Nightmare? American Horror Story. I'm spaced out. This is developed by Remedy. That's right. Published by Microsoft. Which is kind of why the connected universe got all screwed up. The 2 DLCs are called The Signal and The Rider. I'm going to be 100% honest. I did not like the DLCs at all. I felt like they didn't add very much. But overall, I didn't mind them, except there was one part that I got stuck in. I didn't get stuck in the main game at all. This game has got excellent pacing. If there was like top 5 or top 10 games with how they handle pacing, this would be in the top 5 all-time games of pacing. This and Chronicles of Riddick, Dark Athena, or Butcher Bay, which also has absolute top-tier pacing. I wish every game that handled day-night cycles, that was a horror game, I wish they all handled them as efficiently as this, where the day is like gathering info and the night's where the bad stuff happens. Dread Out almost nails it, but not quite. This game also has everything chaptered, which is really nice. Reminds me of how they did Revelations 1 and 2. The chapters is really a nice way of compartmentalizing everything and controlling the pacing. See, it's starting to get dark, which means the bad shit's gonna happen. That is the Cauldron Lake Lodge, which comes into play later. This game's got a great story. I believe this story is supposed to take place in Washington, like the peninsula or something. I can't remember, but don't have to travel far. Whatever, we're not traveling across the world for this one. We're going to the U.S., to Pacific Northwest, I believe. There's tons and tons of back behind the scenes for this game. So if you're interested, like I said, there's a great YouTube channel that explains like the cinematic, or not the cinematic, the game universe of all this, with this and Control and Quantum Break. I'm going to be playing Control. Well, I've already been playing Control for a long time. And I'm going to be playing Quantum Break. It'll be fun to play all three. Although Quantum Break's not really a horror game. Control is, though. And it was so funny, as I had never put Control and this together. But after playing this, I'm like, and then go back and playing Control, I'm like, holy shit, these are literally the same game. But yeah, see here, Alan Wake's temper. She thought she was doing this good thing. She loves him a lot. Kind of wanted to have this romantic getaway and just have him, casually typing to break his writer's block. But the typewriter, he can't handle his temper, so he gets mad, and that unfortunately opens the doorway, which is exactly what the darkness expected. And he has the flashlight. He didn't leave the flashlight with his wife. And the lights go out. And he realized he fucked up. And birds. This game has not a huge variety of bad guys, but it's enough to do the job. And lots of bosses Yeah, unfortunately, his wife... It doesn't explain it, I think, really well. I think she gets confused and disoriented. And then stumbles outside and falls into the water. He jumps in after her, and then he wakes up later.
Felt like I had woken from one nightmare and entered another. I couldn't remember how I got there. All I knew was that something terrible had happened to Alice.
And then has to start kind of filling in the pieces.
Going to help on foot. Among Alice's things was a book, The Creator's Dilemma.
And then
Hartman, seeing the book, brought back my fight with Alice.
The Creator's Dilemma is an interesting
Smug face on the cover either.
introduction. Introducing itself into the story. It's kind of weird. Basically, like, if you're an author, it's how do you separate yourself from your work, or, you know, so you don't become your work, or so what you're writing, you know, doesn't become you, or how do you write things that you haven't experienced. Weak. So that was pretty interesting. It's kind of a... authors are very familiar with that book, but a lot of people who aren't authors probably wouldn't be. But that's what The Creator's Dilemma is.
Hello?
I really wish the remake, or not the remake, the remastered edition, I really wish it wasn't so damn expensive. It would have been fun to play this and see what the updated visuals looked like. It was just too damn expensive. He starts finding his own pages, so he realized he was blacked out for quite a while. And so this is what's kind of confusing. He's not in another dimension. He's awake now. This is all the real world. It's just that shadow people have started invading the real world. So people are really dying. There are real stakes to this. So when people die here, it's a little confusing to try to feel like there's any stakes at first. But there really is. People really are dying and stuff.
Anybody there? Please, I've been in an accident.
This lumber mill is almost exactly like the lumber mill in Revelations 2.
Hey, you!
And I mean that in like a good way. It's very, very, very scary. There's Stucky, the guy at the beginning that he was supposed to get the key from, and he is now the axe murderer. And I believe the axe murderer is a character from one of his stories. Well, that's right. Vehicles can get turned. In fact, well, actually, now that I think about it, pretty much everything in this game can be an enemy, because pretty much anything can get turned into an evil shadow thing and start attacking him. Tons of things to collect. Tons and tons of pages and thermoses, and later there's other things to collect. And watching each of the TV shows is kind of like a collection. And I think listening to the radio programs later turns into like another thing you can collect. So if you're a completionist, there's about 1 billion things you can do in this game. If you do have a chance, I do recommend picking up the remastered version. I think not seeing the cutscenes in like really nice HD was bugging me a little bit. And now that I'm looking at the gameplay, the lighting being a little bit muddy, you know, newer games really used to just amazing lighting. Now we're kind of spoiled as we go into ray tracing. Oh, I forgot to mention when this came out. This came out in 2010. May of 2010. So it's very much an Xbox 360 game. Oh, I love the Energizer product placement. So, one of the things, though, that does get stripped out of the remaster is all of the product placement in this game. There's quite a bit. Product placement was a big deal at the time, because you'd think, you know, Microsoft has a lot of money or whatever, but if they could offset some of their studio costs... Oh, I just love the destruction and carnage in this game. They do not shy away from just massive amounts of carnage. This was originally going to be an open world game. Oh man, it's so intense. And then, yeah, they ended up scaling it down. I think that's for the better. I really do recommend, if you're interested, looking at some of the great behind-the-scenes YouTube videos that people put together about this. While I don't like either of the two DLCs, I don't think they add a lot. I've found them both kind of arduous, although they would have been okay if it wasn't for this one big rotating house puzzle that was a real bitch. American Nightmare, or whatever it's called, was really good. And it was a three things repeating over and over again. But really, 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 really well done. Thoroughly enjoyed it. So now you kind of understand the mechanic a bit more. He has to shine the light at the shadow monsters, and then they're vulnerable. And there's also invisible paint that has been left by some unknown something that kind of points him where things are stashed. But like I said, I'd never played this before. I'd only watched Vash play it, and you know, it had been it's been 12 years probably since I've seen him play this game, so I was really remembering a lot of it. Learning the controls and stuff. Go follow the arrows. There we go. Kind of getting the hang of it. Yeah, I don't think playing the DLC is necessarily important, but American Nightmare, highly, 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 highly recommend. And it introduces just a ton of weapons. And it's not difficult. You don't need any codes for it. You don't need any infinite life or ammo. It's very, very playable. And I just loved how many guns they put in the game. So the flare, I'll try not to use it very much. The flare is essentially like a rocket launcher. It gives you very, very limited ammo because it's so OP. I do end up using it later in the game when I just get frustrated, like at the birds. Because the flare wipes the birds out really well. Lots of little hidden pages to get. So I don't really know what more I can say about this. I probably should say where the studio's from. Remedy. Come on.
What the hell was that? When I saw the river,
Where are they?
something uncoiled itself inside my head. I realized that I'd have to find a way across.
Alan Wake 2 has been announced, by the way. So that's cool. Oh, Max Payne. That's what I was trying to think of. Sweden? Is that where they're from? Holy shit, the stuff from the new Alan Wake trailer looks so good. Are they in Sweden? Anyway, Remedy makes awesome games. So, not really sure what else I can say about this. Horror elements, well, it's got shadow people. It doesn't get more horror-y than that. Dark all the time. There's a lot of psychological elements that play into it later. There is a lot of action, but you do get scared a lot. There is a lot of tension building because when these damn things spawn, they spawn at you from every angle at the same time. And you really have to learn to dodge. And there's limited ammo, limited batteries for your flashlight. And it really is a very scary, upsetting game. You know, you lose your wife, you've got crazy amnesia, something horrible is obviously going on. I think a lot of horror elements here. I think it's very fair to say that this is worthy of being in the my first hour series. Level design's great. Even in the two DLCs, the level design is still really, really good. It just feels like not enough. Well, even like the set design, I mean, it's all really good. It feels like not enough happens. Not enough progresses to justify it. Especially not in the big spinning building. But the action is fun. I do wish there was more weapons. You get more and more powerful flashlights, which I think is so much fun. Running around with a giant mini mag. Or giant mag light is just hilarious. And time appropriate. It was very, very common in the early mid, even the 2000s, 2010s, early 2010s, for people to be running around with big mag lights. You might think, oh, but people had 10,000 lumen, blah, blah, XYZ. Well, a lot of the lumens on those flashlights lie. And there's still really nothing more powerful than like a 5D cell mag light. I mean, that's why cops carried them. Insanely powerful. They weighed a ton. They were great defensive. Yeah, you get to carry one around in this, which is just so rad. You don't get really overpowered guns in this. I don't even think you get a modern pistol. I think you're stuck with the revolver. And then you do get some better shotguns, if I recall. And then, no, you get a hunting rifle. That's right, which is like a 5-shot. Not sure. 5-shot, like, internal mag rifle, I think. Kind of your ubiquitous hunting rifle. So, yeah, I don't know. There's not much more to say, honestly. You've kind of seen everything there is to see. It's just a great, great, great story. And I can't wait for Alan Wake 2. I can't wait to finish Control, and I can't wait to start Quantum Break. I lucked out. This Halloween, just tons and tons and tons and tons of great games on sale. So I sort of hunt around here just looking for goodies and knickknacks, and was just kind of all around enjoying the game. I usually, I try to end with a zinger, but I can't remember how long it is until I hit more Energizer batteries. Can't remember how long here something happens, but he's got to fight some crazy construction equipment, if I recall. The construction equipment comes to life, I think. Oh yeah, I accidentally had the flare gun attached. Yeah, see, the flare gun's like really cheating. Didn't mean to use it. And the revolver reloads fast enough. It's pretty rewarding. Well, that's another way the game builds tension, is by starting those generators. Because you'll have to start those generators and things are trying to chase you down and kill you. And turning on the lights of all the different areas adds like a strategic value. And it was overall just a very just a pleasure to play. Couldn't put it down. Amazing, amazing, amazing pacing. These guys deserve every reward and more. Every award and more. Lots of puzzles, like moving these logs around so you can walk across. Yeah. I haven't really been ranking all these, but in my opinion, none of them have been bad. I'm not gonna waste my time playing a game for an hour, rendering it, talking about it. I'm not gonna waste my time. So, if I'm playing these, it's because I recommend them. And Alan Wake's no exception. If you can go grab it on... Is it? It's not Ubisoft's launcher. Which launcher is it on? I can't... It's not... It's really annoying. The update's not on Steam. The updated version. You gotta get it on... Is it Epic's launcher? Is that what it is? That doesn't sound right. All these damn companies and their damn launchers. I think it's Epic's launcher. But yeah, go get it when it's on sale. The upgraded version. You won't be disappointed. Get the DLCs, get American Nightmare. Keep you busy for a whole weekend, I tell you that much. Tons of radio stuff to listen to. Tons of little movies, little in-game movies to watch. And you can't go worse, honestly. This is like some of the best content. Alan Wake is some of the best content out there. Without getting into like some of the more obscure, like, exclusive titles that I don't even think have been ported to anything. Whoa, whoops. So, check this out. And I'm going to stop rambling. And it's late. And leave a comment down below if there's any other horror games he'd like me to cover, and buy my books. And this is Chance and Ringo. Meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow. Meow. Saying, have a good night. Wow. Bye-bye.
The gas station was closer now, its light welcoming in the